This one's wife. I have a secret weapon to rejoin the royals. Yes. Supposed evil genius, this one's wife has apparently got some secret weapon. We know that she is in difficult circumstances. Popularity has tanked. She's failed to crack the United States, needs money to sustain her high-maintenance lifestyle. Things are not looking particularly good for this one's wife. Spurned by the cosmetic giants, laughed at by the fashion houses, no content being created. How's Meet Me at the Lake coming along? Ooh, crickets. Any news on American Riviera Orchard? Anybody seen that? Been missing since March? No? No? Beulah? No, nothing doing there. It's all gone tits up for this one's wife, and therefore the one thing that might provide her with some form of salvation would be to inveigle her way back into the royal family. Naturally, Charles is not keen on her return, but would want Harry to do so. William and Catherine would rather go to a Celine Dion concert than have to endure this one's wife and the Prince of Pink Pancakes returning. Princess Anne cracked her whip and said, "Not over my dead body," when hearing about the possibility of the gruesome twosome making a return. The fact is, this one's wife is irrelevant. She only achieved relevance as a consequence of the man that she married. Talent-free, charisma-free, devoid of humour and emotional empathy, she is an unattractive prospect. And her narcissism was not able to harness the clear advantages that she was provided, and like so many other narcissists, demonstrates the principle of give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. And yet, her narcissism persists in keeping her hanging in there in order to try and maintain that relevance, and the only route really that's left and available to them is to somehow crawl their way back into the royal family. We have seen the repeated attempts of talking about how they'd like a reconciliation, that they have reached out to Catherine, that they have sought to utilise the well-used olive branch, that they've talked about how they would be delighted to attend certain events if and when invited. Time and time again, the Sussexes have jumped up and down trying to say, "Hey, look, invite us, we'll come over, everything's good, let's reconcile." And they have been met with a stern and appropriate silence from the royal family as part of the well-advised no-contact regime. But it would appear that this one's wife has formulated in her dungeon laboratory beneath the mansion at Monte Shitshow with its 37,000 flushing toilets a secret weapon. Yes. At its unveiling, the skies suddenly erupted. There was lightning and there was thunder. There was a manic cackle. No, not Kamala Harris, but this one's wife reveling in the fact that she had unveiled her secret weapon, which will enable her to get back into the royal family. But what is it? Well, according to that bastion of journalistic excellence, Heat, let's rewind back to May 2011, when Kate Middleton finally married her prince. She may have had roughly 162 million people's eyes upon her, but there was one person above all others, who was dutifully watching her back. Step forward, Pippa Middleton, now Pippa Matthews. Kate's loyal and beloved sister, who herself was catapulted to international stardom that day thanks to her high-profile role as a maid of honour and her universally applauded rear end. The Middleton sisters had always been close, but it was Pippa's duty and devotion to her older sibling, as she held her train, that signalled to the world just how inseparable they were. And though their lives have taken them in somewhat different directions over the past 13 years, as Kate, up until this year, was fully ensconced in the world of royal duty while raising her and William's 3 children, and Pippa has been focused on raising her own young family alongside her husband James Matthews, it's safe to say that nothing has changed when it comes to their bond. Indeed, Kate has always had an incredibly tight-knit relationship with her immediate family, her parents, Carol and Michael, and younger brother James, notwithstanding. And while her husband, Prince William, has dealt with strife and rifts inside his own blue-blooded clan, he's apparently always enjoyed the stability and support of life as a Middleton in-law. So it's safe to say that if you want to get to Kate, you could do worse than going through Pippa. At least, that's what this one's wife is counting on. According to insiders, the Duchess of Sussex, who had enjoyed her own flourishing friendship with Pippa before she and husband Prince Harry left the UK in 2020, and subsequently burnt their bridges with the palace, is keen to reach out to Kate's right-hand woman. As Heat has told you, Harry and this one's wife have been quietly campaigning over the past few months to get back into the royal family's good graces, but to their dismay, they still haven't made much progress. So this one's wife is thinking us outside the box. Can she do that? And now believes that Pippa holds the key. Things cooled off between this one's wife and Pippa when everything went awry with the Sussexes and William and Kate. But as far as their personal relationship goes, there was never any issue, says a royal insider. Now that Meghan is looking for ways to make peace with Kate, she's set on this idea that Pippa could be a good pathway. Pippa's always been very reasonable and level-headed towards this one's wife, so it's not totally out of left field. Harry and this one's wife are still trying to make inroads with the royals themselves, but they are not having a lot of luck, which is why this one's wife's looking at people who might be able to help build bridges. Pippa is someone who she and Harry both get along well with, and they know she's got a lot of sway with Kate, so the plan now is to approach her and explain how sincere they are in their hopes of patching up things. This one's wife's Pippa-focused mission was apparently sparked in part after seeing the latter accompany Kate to Wimbledon earlier this month. The sisters' appearance at the men's singles final, together with William and Kate's daughter, Princess Charlotte IX, was a triumphant moment for Kate, as it marked her first solo royal outing and her second public appearance in total since announcing to the world that she was battling cancer in March. As the Princess of Wales beamed and waved to a standing ovation, Pippa stood supportively beside her, undoubtedly alleviating some of the intensity and pressure of the day from her older sister, who is still undergoing preventative chemotherapy. For this one's wife, we are told, it wasn't just another gleaming example of Kate and Pippa's closeness, but it was also a nostalgic reminder of the life that she and Harry left behind. In 2019, less than a year before they announced to the world they were stepping down as senior royals, this one's wife herself made her own royal appearance at Wimbledon alongside Kate and Pippa, even sitting between the sisters in the royal box. Needless to say, things have changed somewhat since then. Despite leaving the UK on fairly amiable terms, Harry and this one's wife have alienated themselves over their years with the frequent attacks against the royals. Thus, the secret weapon is for this one's wife to get cosy with Pippa, and thus that form a way back into getting on good terms with Kate and William, and to get back in with the royal family. I would safely say that this secret weapon is a failure. There is no prospect of Pippa Matthews deciding that she would allow any approach from this one's wife after her behaviour. Her loyalty to her sister is absolute, and she will clearly see that the snake in the grass in all of this is this one's wife. It wouldn't be beyond the deluded thinking of this one's wife to believe that she could somehow get Pippa on side. Remember, the narcissist can behave in a reprehensible fashion and then moments later behave as if nothing has happened as a consequence of their compartmentalization and sense of entitlement. A non-narcissist would be likely to think, it probably would be too difficult for me to approach her sister. After all, she's going to be loyal to her sister rather than to me. I shouldn't really bother. Or, well, I could try, but I don't think I'm necessarily going to be blessed with success. But the narcissist doesn't see that there's anything wrong with their behaviour. Indeed, are more likely to go to Pippa and try to explain their position by virtue of a pity play, a sob story, in order to try and engender sympathy. Once again, demonstrative of this one's wife's failure to read the room because of her absence of emotional empathy, she just thinks that it would be quite appropriate for her to approach the sister of Catherine, for her to state her case as the victim in all of this, and how she just wants to get along, without taking any responsibility for her own behaviour and the problems that she's called Catherine, demonstrating once again how selfish this one's wife is, and that she's completely oblivious to the harm that she causes. Pippa isn't going to entertain any such approach, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was actually accurate and that this one's wife did think that it's something that she could achieve. That is the kind of deluded thinking that she is well known for. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.